Today we're cutting in half some of my favorite boots to see why these minimalist boots are so stinking comfortable. We got some pretty cool videos coming up. You might notice that the bandsaw's gone, and it's because I broke it. So it was about time. That bandsaw was struggling through some of the nicer boots. We've got some Ariat boots coming up. We got Nicks coming up. For shoes, we've got Common Projects. I just ordered those last night, so they should be here soon. So if you don't want to miss those, consider subscribing because it makes a huge difference. And this video is sponsored by Lems, and I know what you're thinking. We've all seen it where a YouTube channel starts getting sponsorships and they start hawking a bunch of terrible stuff for their own profit. But let me give you 3 quick reasons why you should trust a sponsored review by me. The first reason is the beauty of cutting these in half is you can see exactly what's in them. So even if I was trying to lie to you guys, you would see for yourself that I was lying and you'd point out the BS so fast. The second reason is in the contract with this company or any companies moving forward is I make sure to include that I'm going to give a fair and honest review and point out any and all negative aspects of the boots. And the third reason is I don't make any money if you guys decide to buy these boots. You know, most times you see a video that's sponsored, the video creator earns a certain percentage of any sales that go through the video. So instead of doing that, I just ask the companies that they put them on sale or do a discount code for any of the viewers so that you guys can get a discount for watching my channel. That helps me not be swayed to give an unfair or a not honest review. And that helps hook you guys up with a discount and also helps keep me honest because no matter how much I try, if I knew I was making a little bit of money off of every sale, I think it would even subconsciously sway me to talk about these boots in a different way. So those are the 3 reasons. And speaking of discounts, Lems is putting these on sale from now until Monday. They're 25% off, which is a huge discount. And if you happen to be watching this after the 27th, after Monday, you can still get a 10% discount by signing up for their email list and they'll email you a discount code. And now the information on these boots. So the company is Lems. The model of this boot is a Boulder Boot. The color is russet. The upper is made from a full grain leather with a cotton liner, and the outsole is a air injected rubber. These are made in China, and one really interesting thing about these is the weight of these is 12 ounces. And compared to the Red Wing Iron Rangers that we cut in half, these are 1 pound 14 ounces. So these are more than a pound heavier per boot than the Lems, which is crazy. And the price of these are anywhere from $125 to $165 depending on which model you get. Just another side note is on their site, they emphasize you go half a size up because these are 10 and a half, what I usually wear, and they're too small. So I should have got an 11. So keep that in mind and make sure you get a half a size up because they definitely run half a size small at least. I heard about Lems maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and that idea of designing a shoe around a foot really interested me, so I bought a pair. These are my pretty worn out pair, and they're super comfy. I call them my shop slippers because they're so comfy. So now let's talk about some of those features that make Lems unique and how they're designed around the foot. The first feature that they talk about is called the zero drop, which basically means there's no heel. It's the same level from your heel to the ball of your foot, unlike a regular pair of boots where your heel is an inch or so higher than the pad of the ball of your foot. This is supposed to alleviate back issues and fix your posture. For me, I don't really have any back issues, so I can't really comment on that. But one thing that was really interesting when I started wearing these boots was my calf and my Achilles tendon got a little sore. And I think it's because in a heeled boot, your heels raise, so you're not stretching those muscles out as much. But as soon as that heel is gone, it starts stretching out. And so it's clearly doing something. I think they're more comfortable. I can't really attest to if a zero drop does anything, but that's one of their big features. The next feature that really got me interested in was the wider toe box. So I hate having my toes squished in boots all day. It's the worst thing. I can't, I just focus on all day if I feel my toes being squished. So that's the main reason I bought these, and they really are really roomy. But the problem is, and every time I've ever almost bought a pair of shoes with wide toe box, you put them on and you look like you have duck feet. And the good thing about these Lems is they're the only minimalist wide toe box barefoot boot or shoe that I've ever seen that pulls it off really well, and it's because it's a mock toe, I think. Because if this was just a solid piece of leather around it, look terrible, but this mock toe seam kind of breaks up that wideness of it and makes it a lot more bearable. These still look wide, you know, compared to the Iron Rangers. They still look pretty wide, but they're not nearly as bad as some of the other minimalist shoes and boots I've seen. I don't have a problem with them. Some people might not like how wide they look, but I think they look fine, and I like them. So there's trade-offs either way. They're way comfortable. They might not be as good looking, so you kind of pay for it that way, but they're really not bad. Now let's talk about what these boots are for and what they're not for. These are definitely not work boots. These are definitely not hiking boots. You know, if you compare them to my Chippewa boots with a really heavy lug sole, these are my hiking boots. They're a completely different sole. These are gonna slip a lot more in a heavy hiking situation, and these are gonna grip a lot more. So they're not hiking boots. So what are they? I would consider them a light hiking boot or a spring and summer boot that's a lot more lightweight and breathable. I bought these for an approach boot for rock climbing, and I liked them so much I just turned them into my shop boot because they're really lightweight. My feet don't get hot, they're comfortable, and I don't have to worry about stuff getting to my socks like I would if I was wearing shoes. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of this boot and what I like and what I don't like, starting with the cons. So these boots are minimalist, and if you're walking on really heavy terrain, you're gonna feel every rock in your shoe, and every time you step wrong, you're gonna feel it. The next thing I don't like is I don't like liners in boots. I just want a leather boot because fabric wears out way faster than leather. It just adds another layer that's gonna smell. The other thing I don't like about this boot is these aren't as easily resolable as like a Goodyear welted boot. So once these are worn out, like mine are getting, they're basically at the end of their life. The pros about these boots is I like how lightweight and breathable these are, especially these ones. You know, I really like my Redbacks. They're probably top of the list for my favorite, most comfortable boots. But if I'm working really hard in the shop, I get really hot and my feet get hot, versus these are so lightweight, you don't have to worry about that. The next thing is they're super comfortable, which I've talked about like 5 times already. These are so comfy, and I'm a sucker for comfort. The other thing I like is how lightweight these are for travel, and I like how easy they are to put on and off. They're perfect for like a camp boot where you're getting in and out of the tent a lot, or the camper or whatever, you don't want to tie your boots every single time. These are a really good boot for that. So now you know a little bit about the boot. Let's cut them in half and see what's inside and see how they're built, because I'm really curious. I've been wanting to do this since I bought these ones. So let's do it. Okay, got it cut in half. Let's see what's inside. So very simple on the inside, as to be expected from minimalist footwear. So it's literally just from the outsole up. You've got the air-infused rubber, and you've got the insole is kind of like a lower density foam backed with some fabric, and then you've got the insert. And let me just show you the difference between a regular foot shape on a pair of boots versus these Lems. Pull the insole out of this one for the insert. Okay, now that compared to, so this compared to this. So which one looks more like your foot? That's a big part of why these are so comfortable. It's because your feet aren't being squished like you would be in a pair of Converse. Isn't that crazy? So next I'm just gonna tear the guts out of this thing so we can get a full breakdown of what's going on inside of here. And then we'll look at the leather and see how good the leather is. Got the rest of it torn apart, and this is a cemented construction where there's no stitching that holds the outsole and the upper together. It's all glued. It's pretty common for this price range. And this is actually a lot better leather than I was expecting, because based on my first pair of boots, this leather is not very good and it's really thin. But this is a little bit thicker of a leather, and it's a full grain leather. It's a semi-aniline leather, which basically means they add some pigment to the top layer without completely covering the layer with the plastic or anything. So you get that even and consistent coloring, but you're still able to get some of the natural look of leather compared to a full aniline leather like this. You see all the natural flaws and characteristics of the leather that Red Wings are known for. And then for the thickness of this leather, I don't have my caliper on me. Just under 2 millimeters, 1.8 millimeters, 2 millimeter. So somewhere between 1.8 and 2 millimeters, which is a decent thickness for boots, for a lightweight boot in particular. And it definitely is a full grain leather because you can see that layer of grain on the top, and you can see a little bit of the pores and the natural characteristics of the leather on the outside. So yeah, not bad. Another thing I noticed about these is there's no arch support anywhere, and that goes along with the Barefoot minimalist ideas, where you're supposed to be strengthening your feet by wearing these shoes. It's supposed to be like walking around barefoot. So if you need that arch support, these aren't that boot, and you probably have to put some custom orthotics in it to get that arch support if you need it. So overall, what do I think of this boot? I think it's a really good boot. I really like this boot. It's a good boot if you're not using it as a really heavy duty work boot. They're really comfortable. There's some things I wish they'd improve on these. Like, I think they ought to get rid of this cotton liner on the inside. I just like an all leather boot. Maybe improve the counter material. But other than that, this is one of my favorite boots. And those two critiques are being fairly nitpicky. For a very slim, minimalist boot, this is the one to get. I love this boot. But let me know what you guys think of these boots. What do you think of this breakdown? Have you had an experience with Lems or any other the minimalist footwear, and how have they felt to you? Shout out to Lems for sponsoring this video and putting a little faith in the channel and having enough faith in their own product to have it completely dissected and destroyed on camera. And thanks to you guys for helping support this channel and growing it as fast as it has grown. And if you aren't subscribed, consider subscribing, because it helps a lot with getting these sponsored videos so that you guys can see more boots more often and more brands that you maybe never heard of. So thank you guys for everything. See ya.